Check it in.
Audio test. Good morning to our attendees here in the board hearing room. If you are a member of the public who wishes to offer commentary on any of our agenda items, and you've not already filled out one of these speaker cards, please go ahead and fill out a speaker card. They're located in the back of the room on the table. Indicate which item you'd like to speak on, or if you'd like to offer general public comment, and submit it to me. I'll record your information and call upon you when we reach your item. We do have a long agenda this morning. We have about 30 items, about 29, 30 items. So for our attendees who are joining us on the Zoom platform, good morning. If you would like to offer public comment, commentary on multiple items, or single item commentary, please raise your hand at this time. I'll call upon you and ask which item you'd like to speak on, record your information for the record, and then we'll call upon you when we reach your item. Good morning, Jill.
Hi, just general.
Very well. I have you down for general public comment. I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand. I do see a number of other attendees on the virtual platform. Should you wish to offer commentary on any of our items this morning on the agenda or general public comment, please raise your hand at this time. You can, if you're using a smartphone, you can press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute. And it's 9:54. I will make one other call out, an additional call out for folks who want to offer commentary in about 5 minutes, and we should get started on time at 10 a.m. with the board meeting. Thank you. And I do see an additional hand raised. Miriam?
Yes, just the general. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, good morning to our attendees who are joining us here in the board hearing room. If there's any member of the public who wishes to offer commentary, either general public comment, single item comment, or multiple item comment, and you've not already filled out one of these speaker cards, please fill one out and provide it to me. As soon as you have it filled out, I'll record your information for the record and call upon you when we reach your item. Currently, I have Carol Nakano for item 4, and I have Dan Zacharias, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, for item 21, and that's only if there are specific questions on item 21. On the virtual platform, I have Jill and Miriam on general public comment. If there are additional commenters on the virtual platform, please raise your hand. I will ask you to unmute and identify yourself and which item you'd like to speak on. We do have a full agenda this morning. We have about 30 items on our agenda. And once again, if there's any member of the public on the virtual platform who has not already identified themselves as wishing to offer public comment, please raise your hand. And I see Children's Voices Matter has raised your hand. Would you like to offer commentary this morning?
Yes, please. On the general commentary, please.
Very well. I have you down for general public comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. President Kang, we are now in record mode.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Wednesday, June 18, 2025. Mr. Knight, would you please take roll and establish quorum?
Yes, good morning, President Kang. We have President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell present. We do have a quorum. We are joined by City Attorney Representative Virginia Choi. I'm TJ Knight with the Board of Public Works. This morning we have 2 single item commenters in the room, and we have 3 general public commenters on the Zoom platform. We have no neighborhood council commentary this morning. I do have a couple of notes, President Kang. We have a request from the Bureau to postpone item 30 to July 16th, 2025. And then I do have a request if the board is receptive to take items 2 through 10 together. And then I do have suggestion to add items 22 and 27 to the consent calendar.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
All right, with that, we will now start with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matter that are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. So we will start with in-person general public comment. First, we have Adina Corsand.
Hi, good morning, President Corson. I'm here to talking about our street. So for the past 1 week or two, and then are you aware that there's a huge amount of destruction on the street, on the building, on the sidewalk, on the city properties or whatever? As far as you can recall, I have been advocating for our street for so long, and then right now, I am seeing that we are not only not making any progress, but look at the street right now. Graffitis, trash, damages on the street. So we are seeing that our street condition is getting worse and worse. In summary, I just want to make sure that in the future that you can work with the LAPD, with other law enforcement to make sure there's law and order on the street, so we don't have to suffer from your damaged street condition.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Audit LA.
President Kang, I've been advised by City Attorney, and I'm sorry to interrupt, just give me 1 second, that City Attorney has requested that the motion to add items 22 and 27 to the consent calendar should be done as soon as possible. That is now, perhaps before the next public commenter.
Sure. So we'll do that after public comment.
Just give us one.
Would you like?
We should do it before public comment so that members of the public are aware that these items have been added to the consent calendar and they will have to select their commenting.
Understood. I'll move to add items 22 and 27 to the consent.
Second.
So first from me and seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on adding items 22 and 27 to the consent calendar, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and items 22 and 27 are added to the consent calendar unanimously.
All right. Thank you very much. Apologies, Audit LA, for the interruption.
No worries. Elevator was down, so a little late. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm here for, I don't know what numbers it is, but the one thing first is the bidding. I'm going to say the same thing every time when it comes to bidding, to make sure, please, that the companies you are choosing are ethical, that they do not use any form of labor trafficking or slave labor. Oh, thank you. Because that does exist, sadly, in America. And I'm not just referring to Church of Scientology, I'm referring to a lot of different places. It is a problem and it needs to be addressed. And I'm on all items, though. I want full-time, please. And I see something like money being transferred for the mobility. It seems like anytime we're dealing with sidewalks or anything dealing with mobility in the city, it seems like the littlest chunk of change goes towards it. And I find that really, not like someone in a chair who.
Thank you, that's 1 minute.
Well, no, I applied for all comments.
Okay, so we're currently, the presiding officer is currently designated this time block as a general public comment.
Oh, that wasn't my general public comment. I didn't know. I would not make that because I was talking agenda items.
Is it possible for you to do 2 minutes for all items and then 1 minute again for general public comment?
Yeah,
Since
yeah. If I could just have my general public, then I'll leave.
Okay.
You work.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi again. Okay, I'm here to discuss we had a wonderful, wonderful protest on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all your dads and grandpas. And I just want to remind, it was peaceful, it was joyful, it was filled with love. And, we got to, people who were survivors were able to come and talk to the people who are still there and still in there and try to let them know that the outside world is not a horrifying, scary place. We are trying, and so I want to continue that theme that we are not here to bash on Scientologists. We're actually here to try to help them get out of a cult that is doing a lot of bad things. And so we want to continue with that theme, but I'm very grateful that that went well. And hopefully, I'm hoping that we reach a lot of hearts, but thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now transition to virtual.
Very well, and we are on the public comment portion of today's meeting, so we will start with Jill. And you'll have 60 seconds to offer your commentary.
Hi, I'm going to continue on the thread of audit related to the event that was occurred on Father's Day on L. Ron Hubbard Way. I have to say it was totally broken the narrative that you've been fed about the people that are fighting against the criminal gang of Scientology. Just want to make you aware they tried to swipe a toilet and push it way to the end of the street. They had no authorization to touch the toilet, and when it was delivered for the people for the event, the police were called because the Scientology gang didn't like it, that we had a permit and that it was moved, and it was criminally done so because they weren't supposed to touch that toilet. It did not belong to them. There's something that needs to be looked at, and the constant calls about the parking on a street, that there are no legal no parking signs. The gang needs to stop with their activities, trying to stop a peaceful protest, trying to expose their criminal gang activities. Bye.
And we'll move next to Miriam.
Yes, I will also continue on the protest. And I was going to mention about this toilet that with permitted ADA compliant toilet, which was delivered on L. Ron Hubbard Way. And they called the police, and 2 police units arrived there in the middle of some of the biggest protests that has been happening this year to take care of this toilet issue, which was completely permitted. Secondly, Cult of Scientology tried to sabotage the event by playing their own music over the allowed decibel limit almost the entire time of the protest. And they sent people to take pictures of the protesters and try to intimidate them leading up to the protest. I also want to point out that I have made calculation that over 500,000 people saw this protest worldwide. So in attendance, there was maybe only 50 or 60 people, but over 500,000 people saw what was going on there this Sunday. Thank you.
And we'll move next to Children's Voices Matter.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak. Viewer discretion or ear discretion, I want to read some questions from 2 security checks that children go through in Scientology. Have you ever raped anyone? Have you ever committed adultery? Have you practiced homosexuality? Had you ever had intercourse with a member of your family? Have you ever slept with a member of a race of another color? How do you feel about sex? How do you feel about being controlled? This is the next sec check, the only valid security check. Have you ever practiced cannibalism? Have you ever peddled dope? Have you practiced sex with animals? Have you ever attempted suicide? Do you collect sexual objects? Have you ever practiced sex with children? Have you ever practiced the MAST word? Have you ever killed or crippled animals for pleasure? Have you ever had unkind thoughts about L. Ron Hubbard? Are you upset about this security check? Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. Children's voices do matter. I yield back my time.
President King, that concludes I'm sorry, there is an additional hand raised. There are actually 2 additional hands raised on the virtual platform. If you'd like, I can ask if those
Yes, please.
members of the public would like to offer commentary. And I'll start with Peter Gregora. Would you like to offer general public comment?
Yes, just general public comment, please.
Go ahead, you have 60 seconds.
Yes, hi, this is Peter Gregora, ex-husband of Heidi Soto, and I just want to make sure that this board understands that moving a toilet that was already illegally moved by Scientology is in fact not theft. It is in fact not vandalism. It is in fact not assault. And if you could just relay that to my ex-wife, that'd be fantastic. I just want to make sure if she does charge anybody, that she makes sure to not charge just that Henry guy. I don't know what it is with him. She just really has it out for him. So just make sure if she's going to charge anybody, it's not just that Henry guy. She's utterly obsessed with him. I wish she was that obsessed with me when we were married, but sadly it didn't work out that way. So if you could just relay that over to my ex-wife, that'd be great. Thank you so much, Peter Gregora.
And next we have Georgina McPhee. Would you like to offer a public comment?
Good morning,
this
everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, the 18th day of June in the year 2025. My name is Marquis Harris Dawson. I serve
Georgina, I
as
see that you've
president of
unmuted.
this
However,
council.
I'm not
Public
receiving
comment
audio
for this
input from
morning's
you.
meeting will be
I don't
taken
understand why
in
I'm
person
hearing
in this
something
chamber.
different.
Mr. Clerk,
Can you hear
begin
me?
our proceedings by
Yes,
calling the roll.
you may want to mute
Yes, Mr. President.
whatever other
Blumenfeld,
device
Harris,
you may be
Hernandez,
listening
Hutt,
to this or
Jurado,
another
me,
meeting
McOsker,
on, but go
Nazarian,
ahead, you have
Padilla,
60
Park,
seconds.
Price,
for your public
Rahman,
comment.
Okay.
Rodriguez, Soto
Is it better?
Martinez, Yaroslavsky, 12 members
ahead.
present and a quorum, Mr. President.
All right,
Okay.
first order of business.
I'm calling
the
about
minutes
the
of June 17,
fact that the
2025.
city of
Councilmember
Hollywood
Price moves,
has
Councilmember
allowed the
Rodriguez
Church
seconds.
of
What's next?
Scientology
Commendatory
to
resolution for
literally
approval.
steal a
Councilmember Lee
street
moves, Councilmember
from
Hernandez
its
seconds. What's next?
citizens, from the
Mr. President,
populace,
there's a
from the
request to
city.
continue item
That
3
street
to
is a
Tuesday,
valuable
June
asset
24,
to our community. It's a
2025.
direct
All right, without
access
objection,
route
that'll be the
to
order.
2 major hospitals.
Items 1
It
and 2
would
are items noticed
provide
for public
at
hearing.
least
Items
50
3
parking
through 28
spaces
are
for
items
the
for which public
neighborhood.
hearings have been
That,
held.
you know,
The
as a
Budget and
commuter
Finance Committee
city,
reports
it's
for
very
items
needed to
25,
have
26,
ample
and 28
parking.
have been
LA
submitted
is
and are available
notoriously,
online in the
a
respective council
commuter
files.
city.
Please note
And
that item
we
27
could
is
put
for
in
a
needed
favorable
parking,
report and
parking,
discussion. The
and
council may
get at least
recess into closed session
$1,000
for
a
this
day.
item.
I
Items
think
29
it's a
through
shame
33
that we
are
would
items for which
sit
public
back
hearings have
and
not been held.
not
Items
take
34 is
the
a
street
closed
back
session
from
item
them,
considered by
not
the Public
fine them.
Works
They
Committee.
need to
10
pay
votes are
to
required for
have it
consideration.
retrofitted
All
back
right,
to an accessible street for
those
the whole
items
neighborhood
are
and
now
not just be
before
their
us. Members,
street.
are there
Thank
any
you.
items
Thank you. I yield back my
folks would like
time.
to call special?
And we have
Councilmember Rahman.
Carla. I see that your hand is raised. Would you like to offer public comment, general public comment this
Whether we
morning?
could move if we could refer item 33 actually to the Public Works Committee?
I'm concerned about that because that item's been to the Public Works Committee.
I see that you've
I don't believe
unmuted.
it has.
However, I'm not receiving audio input from you. Carla?
Okay,
Are
we'll hold
you
the item
able
on the
to
desk. I feel like that
provide,
item's been
audio
to like
input?
3 committees already, so I'm a little bit concerned, but we'll figure it out.
Thank you so much.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Okay, it appears there may be
Yes, I'd
some
like to
technical
refer item
issues with
13 to personnel and hiring.
the last user on, or the
All right.
last attendee
Is
on
there a
the Zoom
second to this
platform. I do have an additional card that I've received for public comment on all items from attendee here in the hearing room, President King.
Needs a second? Thank you. All right.
We'll go back to
Seconded
one
by
more
Councilmember
in
McCosker.
person
Thank you.
public comment. Trump Ice.
All right, Mr. Clerk, what's next?
Mr. President, the council may now vote on items 4 through 12, 14 through 26, and 28.
One motherfucking minute of
All right,
this
those items are
shit.
now before us.
Bullets
Open the
versus
roll.
Los Angeles and this
Close the
fucking
roll.
city of
Tabulate the
criminal
vote.
corruption. Haven't you
39.
stolen enough when ripping off the homeless
All right,
and the
what's
homeless veterans of their property and their
President, the
necessities
council may now
to
move on
get
to closed
fucking
session
housing and
item
shelter
34,
because you go
considered
there
by
and
the
take
Public
all their
Works Committee.
property and discard it? That's wrong.
All right, do we have a?
We are the
report from Public
American
Works in this
people
item?
of America.
This
We
is
will
item
always
34.
be the Native Americans of this land, of Florida. Never in
And
the
for the
history
record,
has the
for item
great
34, in the
American
cases
army
entitled
conquered
Citizens
us
for a Better
and our
Los Angeles versus
swamps
City of Los
and
Angeles
find
et
us
al.,
guilty of
and
any
Coalition for
treason
City
or
of Los
terrorist
Angeles versus
acts.
City of Los Angeles et
You
al.
fucking
The
Chinese,
recommendation is
go
to
to
approve the city
hell.
attorney's
God hates
recommendations
you.
as
God
discussed
bless
in closed
Trump.
session.
God bless
All right,
America.
Councilmember
More
Hernandez, my
MAGA.
apologies. So this
More
is a
Trump.
closed session
More
item, so
raids.
we'll hold this on the
Ice,
desk,
ice,
clerk, and,
ice,
come to the agenda
baby.
meeting.
Now you
Yes, sir.
heard. That's what I demand,
The council may
motherfucker.
now move on to presentations.
All right, we have 2 presentations today. We're very excited. This is the eve of Juneteenth, and Los Angeles is in a revolutionary freedom mode. So we have 2 very exciting presentations this morning. The first one to be led by Councilmember Rodriguez.
Thank you so much, Mr. Harris Dawson and colleagues and Angelinos everywhere where you're watching and listening. I'm very
Give me
proud
just one
today
second.
to
We're
have
experiencing
a
some
proud
audio
American
bleed
of
from
Dominican
another meeting.
and Colombiana también, los dos, la mitad de dos, here with us today. In a moment in time when our community continues to be targeted, racially profiled, and frankly abducted across the country, she did something very profound. And this morning I have with me Neza, also known as Vanessa Hernandez, who did something incredibly remarkable. And it's remarkable because in a moment in time,
I apologize to our
when
users
so
on
many
the
people
Zoom platform
are
and
remaining
listening on
silent,
the YouTube audio link.
she took the
However, there
platform that
was
she had
I
and
did
she
receive
showed
reports
us
of
what she
audio
was made
bleed
of.
from LA City Council.
You know,
Hopefully
there's
that has
a-
been addressed and
there's
there will be
a-
no further bleed from the other meeting.
There's a
Thank you.
practice that I enjoy, or
And
a
President King,
lesson
that
that I
does
like
conclude
to
public comment
remind myself,
on the virtual platform this
is that if you want to be disappointed
Thank you very
by
much. With that,
people,
we will close general
expect them to
public
do the
comment
right thing.
portion of today's meeting and move
But
on
when
to
people show
multiple
you who
agenda
they
item
are,
public
believe
comment.
them.
The board will provide an
And in a
opportunity for
moment
members
and in
of
a
the public
city
wishing to speak
where
on
we
more than one
celebrate
agenda item
the fact that
during
we are a
multiple agenda
majority
item
Latino
period
city,
for up to 1 minute per item, up to a
it
total of
shouldn't
3
be
minutes per meeting. This
a
is the only
major
time to speak
incident
on more than one agenda
to
item, and
speak
please
the
identify the
language
items that you will speak on when you
that
are
is
called.
frankly
We'll start
as
with
used
in person,
as English here
Adina
in the city
Corsa.
of Los Angeles, and that is Spanish. She made
Thank you very much, our City
a
Attorney,
remarkable-
Ms.
she took a
Hampstead.
remarkable stand.
So I would begin on item number
When many sports
23.
figures will
It is
take a
about a
knee,
request for
and in this
authority graffiti
country
removal. And
where
I will be specifically talking about the
peaceful
letter F.
protest was
I
something that
heard
we
there's a
honor.
Koreatown Youth and Community Center.
I couldn't believe that it was
I
a
have
moment
been
that
living in
caused
Koreatown Community Center around that area for so long, and I have seen the graffiti are just so much to handle. And finally, I am seeing some sort of a project that we are start to dealing with the graffiti in there. I don't understand that how does our public works, like which neighborhood has a priority graffiti removal, and then maybe our Koreatown, like maybe just the previous speaker said, they have to deport all of us. I don't know what that means. But anyway, so I just feel that certain neighborhood, when they submit a request, it's fast, it's done, several days. But when the Koreatown have a graffiti removal, 1 year, no response. Now, let's continue on item number 25. If you allow me, our attorney Hampstead is about the sidewalk repair program. Yes, literally, this is a walking example. My friend, this is a walking example that how many times that she is not able to travel without me, without any helper, without any special assistance. In an ideal world that my friend right here should be go to a grocery store by herself, should be able to taking the public transportation by herself, should be able to do whatever she needs to do by herself, but most likely so many times on a weekly basis that she is not able to because we have a street condition that has not been addressed by our commissioner, other than our commissioner continue to looking at her cell phone like our city attorney. Now let's move on to item number 26. It's about the emergency sewer and storm drain repair. I want to thank, shout out to our city attorney Hampstead for not interrupting me today. And then, I'm waiting, I'm looking forward for your interruption. Yes, emergency sewer. Does anyone taking the bus running on the El Monte busway? If anyone was going there, every time we open the window, we smell the sewer. We smell something extremely bad that the bus driver can have a hard time breathe. The passenger has a hard time to breathe. I don't know what's going on, but there's a sewer in there in the El Monte busway, and then so while you are going there, something has to be done. And then including, I remember last year our sewer charges were actually increased. So increase the charges meaning increased services, hopefully.
And that's 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Next is Audit Olay. You can do 2 minutes. Yeah.
I appreciate that, President Kang. I just want to basically talk about all the different things. It's the same thing that I talk about is just, that we take care of the people's money, that we're careful with it, especially with the $1 billion, crunch that we're in. And just especially since there's so much coming, Olympics, there's just a lot of need for a lot of things. So I'm just asking to like the days of old where you just, everything is like yes, 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 that maybe we need to reconsider that and really be more picky and choosy into what we do because we need all of our infrastructure, and I get that. But sometimes things seem to be like done in a way where maybe it didn't need to be that much, that fancy or that, we could be a little bit more frugal. I'm kind of more of a frugal person. I try to get good deals, look for what's on sale because I have a limited income. And in the city, we have a limited income now, but sometimes we act as if we don't. So I'm just here to remind you of that, and to remind you that we have Olympics coming, all these things, and I am like my friend said, really concerned about the streets and the sidewalks, and I know I'm saying about being frugal and not putting so much money out there, but I would say, but put money out there where it really needs to go out there because I'm trying to imagine the Paralympics with our streets and sidewalks. I don't see how we're going to accomplish that in 3 years. Because I understand the Willits decision, you have 30 years, but but we have things, events coming which really need this done now. And also the elevators, like right now, the past 2 days, the local elevator at the metro station's down. And so I had to come here, go get another train. Get another train to come like a back way. It's just weird. But things like that, to get mobility, movement, elevators, escalator, any of that stuff is really, really crucial. And it seems like we're not putting the money to good use like that. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Next multiple item is Trump Ice.
Ladies and gentlemen of Los Angeles, never in the history has a grown man or a grown woman who have disabilities, who have issues with mobility and access to the Department of Los Angeles Public Works have never been so humiliated by the construction, the infrastructure, and the tear down of what's happening in our society for discrimination on the basis and retaliatory actions of our Los Angeles Mayor Bass, for the record. I don't blame John Grant. I don't blame Ms. Mitchell. I blame Jenny Chavez and you, Mr. Kang. I don't know what country you believe in, but this is America, brother. So keep that in mind. And then talking about the issue here on housing on the Downs Center, am I right? Jordan Downs? Well, that sounds racist to me. Jordan Down, that name should be changed to Trump Gets Down. Trump will build America again under MAGA. And no more will we tolerate the abuse and waste and fraud and subject the American taxpaying people that work and live in America to pay for such actions, deplorable actions, insulting actions against any individual in the United States of America, because we are still one great nation that provides under conditions that you go through the due process of not being here illegally and you become a naturalized citizen to defend my fucking country for liberty, justice, and for all. And those were the words said to me by a federal judge, and I won't tell you his name. You don't have to know the judge's name. There are many good judges in this world left, but very, very, very many juju criminal judges paid lobbying for white politician niggers who steal with elected officials at the capacity of your stupidity, arrogance, greed, and money laundering RICO. needs to stop. Be aware of Doge. Be aware of ICE. Be aware of what's coming to California. Because I will keep America, I will keep California alive during my ability as a disabled man with my PSD dog that protects me from fucking white nigger politicians of America. God bless you, Trump. Happy birthday, Donald Trump. Thank you, ICE. We want more ICE. Fuck Los Angeles mayor and fuck you, California, Gavin Newsom.
Thank you very much. We'll now transition to virtual, Mr. Knight.
Thank you, President Kang. And I am reviewing my notes, and I do see a couple of hands raised. So far, no one has identified that they wish to offer multiple item commentary. However, I will call upon the attendees who have their hands raised. Jay Ross, would you like to offer multiple agenda item commentary this morning?
Well, I'd like to comment on item number 4, assessment hearing number 3. Is this the time or should I wait?
No, thank you for letting me know, Mr. Ross. I will mark you down for single item comment for agenda item 4.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute and lower your hand. We'll call upon you when we get to item 4. Thank you. And then Marianne King, would you like to offer multiple item agenda commentary this morning or single item commentary?
Hi, thank you. Single item, item number 21.
Item 21, let me just verify the agenda item title of item 21. Give me 1 second. That is the tree,
Carlisle Place?
the tree removal.
Correct.
Okay, very well. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you.
We will go ahead and call upon you when we reach item 21. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to mute and lower your hand. If there are any additional multiple agenda item commenters or single item commenters on the virtual platform, please raise your hand at this time. And I see no additional hands being raised. So that concludes multiple item agenda commentary this morning, President Kang.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close the multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting, and we will move forward with the approval of minutes for Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. Commissioners, any comments? If not, first, anyone for first and second of approval of minutes?
So moved.
Second.
First by Vice President Chavez, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and approval of minutes is unanimous.
Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item number 1 for bids for secondary sewer renewal program.
Thank you, President Kang. We are joined this morning by Board of Public Works Secretariat Staff Matthew Castellanos to open bids for our 1 bid opening, agenda item number 1.
2 bids.
Oh, there's 2 bids. Oh, 2 bids for item 1. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. There are 2 bidders this morning. Our first bidder is Gerbcon Incorporated. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. It's spelled GRBCON Incorporated. And their total bid amount is $2,398,973. $2,398,973. Our second and final bid for item 1 is from MNR Construction Incorporated. MNR Construction Incorporated's total bid amount is $2,456,150. $2,456,150. Thank you. And that concludes today's bid opening.
Thank you very much. With that, I'll move to accept the bids for agenda item number 1. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote for bid opening for item number 1. Starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and the bids are received, open, and declared forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Castellanos.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to assessment hearings for items number 2 through 10.
Are we going to listen to the caller for item 4 beforehand?
We'll have the public comment after your report.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. Items 2 through 8 pertain to lighting districts which we are creating in conjunction with private development projects. Items 9 and 10 pertain to lighting districts which we are creating in conjunction with the Bureau of Street Services initiated street improvement projects. Ballots for items 2 to 10 were mailed on May 7th, 2025. Ballots for items 2 through 10 must be received by the City Clerk's office by next Tuesday, June 24th. We have not received any objections to date. We are requesting for the board to adopt and forward items 2 to 10 forthwith to City Council.
All right, we'll take some single item public comments for all, for 2 to 10.
Very well, thank you, President King. We have one commenter in the room on item 4, and then we have one commenter on the virtual platform also on item 4.
We will start with in-person, Carol Nakano for item number 4.
My name is Carol Nakano.
Go ahead and speak right into the microphone.
Okay, thank you. My name is Carol Nakano, and I live at 2106 Berry Avenue. I'm here to confirm, state my objection to the proposed street light installation on the City Parkway in front of 2106 Berry. Here are my concerns. Did the city explore other alternatives? Did the city consider placing the street light on the west side of Berry Avenue? On the west side, there are trees, bushes blocking the light emitted from the school. This is where RVs, cars, and vans tend to park overnight. It's quite dark. There is one existing street light on the west side of Berry and 2 lights on Mississippi. I live in the second house from Berry in Mississippi. The light from the school shines on my front yard, therefore a street light would be a waste of city money. I'm a retired person on a fixed income. The yearly tax increase for light will be a burden annually and forever. In addition, annual property taxes are going to be increased for neighbors close to 2110 Berry because of the current.
Thank you, Carl, and that's 60 seconds.
Thank
And
you.
if you have additional information, you can, as I indicated earlier, you can fill out the Google comment form that's linked on the agendas that we have, and I'll distribute it to all commissioners and the Bureau. I apologize, President King. And we also have a single item commentary for item 4 on the virtual platform. We have Jay Ross.
Hey there. Are you guys able to tell us if this light is actually needed on that intersection? Because there are already 2 lamps right on that intersection. I mean, this is stupid. I mean, it's a waste of money. You know, we have a huge budget deficit. If you want to put another light there, put it farther down the block, closer to Olympic, and put it on the west side where the school is. That is pitch black and people get assaulted there. I mean, can you tell us what the reason is why it's needed at this exact location when there's already 2 lamps? And also, I mean, you guys understand that people need darkness to sleep. If they don't have darkness, their brain doesn't heal at night. It harms their mental health. The next day, they wake up agitated. They have a hard time learning in school. They have a hard time staying focused at work, and it harms their lives. To just willy-nilly put up a light it's clearly not needed, and our budget clearly can't waste money like this. I mean, can you guys answer this question? Why is this light needed at this intersection when there are already 2 street lamps at this intersection? Can you answer that? Like the gentleman here from Street Lighting, can you answer that? Why is it needed? You have not told us why it's
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ross. That's 60 seconds. And that concludes single item commentary for item 4 this morning, President King.
Before we move on, do you think you can elaborate on some of the comments that we received today?
Sure. Item 4 pertains to the Berry Avenue and Mississippi Avenue Lighting District, which we are creating in conjunction with the private development project. It's my understanding that it's a 2 residential condominium unit that's being proposed. The developer is required to install 1 street light. The lighting district consists of 2 parcels. From what my understanding is, there is a utilitarian light at the intersection. That's when you have one of those lights that's mounted on a wooden power pole. Those are always considered to be temporary streetlights until we have an opportunity to install a permanent steel or concrete pole. Sometimes these temporary lights can be there for months, sometimes it could be there for years. We usually have to wait until there's a capital improvement project or a private development project that comes forward in order for us to be able to replace that light on the wooden power pole and permanently install a steel or concrete pole. As far as the location, most of the time, I have to, my colleagues are telling me that it has to do with the lighting levels. If we're not meeting sufficient lighting levels for that particular street, again, whenever we have a development, we'll require a developer to install a street light in order to bring lighting standards to our current city adopted standards. I've also learned that we move this light approximately like 7 feet away from the property line, and it's to basically provide sufficient clearance from a large existing tree. Sometimes we have to place the pole across the street, for example, to because the sidewalk is not wide enough, and in order to comply with ADA requirements, sometimes we have to move the pole outside of the developer's frontage because we're trying to clear a fire hydrant or a catch basin, or in this case, a large tree. And hopefully, I've answered the questions that the constituents have addressed to this board, and I now ask the board to deny any protests and move forward with these items 2 through 10 forthwith to City Council.
Commissioners, did you have any other comments or questions related to this particular item before we move on? Okay. Mr. Knight, can we take more single item comment
Yes.
for others as well?
So we have the the only other items that have identified commenters for single item commentary are item 21. So I can ask again if there's any other members of the public on the virtual platform who wish to offer commentary for items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Please raise your hand at this time and identify yourself for the record. And there's no one raising their hand.
Okay. Commissioners, any last minute comments related to items 2 through 10? Okay. All right. Thank you. So we'll move to approve items 2 through 10. Is there a first and a second?
So move.
First by President Pro Tem Grant and seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on items 2 through 10, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes. Items 2 through 10 are approved, and we'll move forward to City Council confirmation process forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And moving on to our consent items, 11 through 15 and 22 and 27. Are there any questions or comments related to consent before we move to a vote?
There are no attendees who've identified themselves as having to wish to offer public comment on items 11 through 15 or 22 or 27 at this time.
All right. I'll move to approve the consent items. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on the consent items 11 through 15, 22, and 27, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and these items are approved unanimous.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 16 for the Bureau of Engineering for Council District 11, above ground facilities variance at 138 Culver Boulevard.
Good morning, President, Vice President, and Commissioners. My name is Tao Yang, and I'm representing Central District, BOE Central District AGF Group. The item before you is an AGF request for volume variance, as well as a hardship waiver from below grade requirements. The site is located in front of a large empty lot located 1 block away from Playa del Rey Beach in Council District 11. The applicant is Network Connex, who represents T-Mobile, and they're proposing to upgrade their facilities to provide better services, as well as to provide backup batteries to an existing facility on the pole. There is an existing cabinet at the location that is 69 inches tall and 57 cubic feet in volume. They would like to replace it with 2 cabinets with a height of 71 inches and 69.73 cubic feet in total volume. The increase in volume, because it's over 36 cubic feet, requires a volume variance. And because it's located in a specific plan, the Coastal Transportation Corridor, a hardship waiver is required to allow for the cabinets to be placed above ground instead of being placed underground. The frontage owners, businesses across the street, as well as CD11 and neighborhood councils were notified via certified mail, and we did not receive any appeals during the appeal period. Cultural Affairs Commission has also approved the cabinet design. That concludes my presentation, and let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, did you have any questions or comments related to item number 16? Real quickly, related to sort of the T-Mobile's plan to care for this infrastructure, if it's tagged, can you sort of remind the public what's been stated?
Yes, for every AGF, the municipal code requires that the applicant place the contact information on the AGF itself with a number to report, and they also inspect if there are any reports of tagging, they will remove it within 72 hours. And they also inspect the site 4 times per year. That is the requirement.
Okay, I will move to approve item number 16. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant and Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 16, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and this item is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 17 for Council District 15, contract award for PPC Construction, Inc.
Good morning, board members. My name is Mina Grace. I'm a civil engineer with the Street Improvement Division with the Bureau of Engineering. And I would like to introduce to you item 17. This item is to award the Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities, STI and TRA Improvements Project to PPC Construction. We received 2 bids for this project, one from PPC and one from Axiom. And PPC was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Axiom Group also requested to withdraw their bid, and their request was approved in a previous board meeting. This project will be awarded at a cost of $6,069,219. The scope of the project includes curb ramp and sidewalk replacement, new bus stop and street lights, a new traffic signal, crosswalk upgrades, bike lanes, and planting of new trees. The construction for this project expected to take about 1 year after award. This project is funded through a state grant. The state will fund about $1.8 million, and the remaining funds will come from a CTIEP fund. And that fund is called the SB1 Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Fund. PPC has complied with all the non-discrimination policies and also the BIP requirements. In regards to previous work record, PPC has been confirmed to have a clean record, and they worked on several projects issued by the Board of Public Works, and BCA has determined that they don't have any unresolved problems in inspection, contract compliance, or bidder responsibility. And this concludes my presentation. Feel free to ask any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioners, did you have any questions or comments related to number 17? Seeing none, I will move to approve item number 17. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Very well, we will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 17, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and item 17 is adopted forthwith.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 18 for Council District 8, a task order solicitation number 37, CWE Inc.
Yes. Good morning. Can you guys hear me? Good morning. My name is Dave. Good morning, members of the board. My name is David Nguyen, and I am the project manager for the Bureau of Engineering Sidewalk Repair Program, or SRP. The item before you is a request to issue a task order solicitation TOS to CWE from the pre-qualified on-call consultant list to provide design and survey support services for the sidewalk repair program, and to recommend to authorize the city of the city engineer to issue $467,000, which include 20% contingency. Just to give you a little bit of background, on August 16, 2024, the board approved an amendment to the pre-qualified on-call list of consultants to provide civil design services. The contract with these firms will expire on October 22nd, 2029. All consultants selected were reminded of this expiration date. BOE received a total of 5 proposals, which includes CWE, Canyon, DRC, HDR, and PSOMAS. A cross-divisional panel of BOE representatives reviewed and scored the proposal based on the criteria listed in the TOS. The selection panel found the proposal from CWE to demonstrate the most comprehensive qualifications to provide the criteria as listed on the TOS. The TOS includes the Scope of Capital and Technology Improvement Expenditure Program, CTIEP, number 79, which includes but not limited to replacing sidewalk, driveways, curb ramps, utilities, tree work for 160 access request sites along La Salle Avenue, Jefferson, Hobart, Hawdale, Harvard, and Bridgeton Avenue. The funding for the project is currently available for the fiscal year 24 and 25 road maintenance and rehab program special fund for the sidewalk repair engineering consultant services. And this concludes my reports.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, I will move to approve item number 19. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 18, starting with you, President Kang.
19?
19.
Oh, sorry, 18. My apologies.
18.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and take roll call vote on approval of item 18, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and this item is adopted forthwith.
Thank you very much. Next, we're hoping to hear number 19 and 20 together because it's similar. First, 19, Council District 6, request for authority at 11311 Pendleton Street, number B. And the next, item number 20, Council District 9, request for authority for 700 State Drive.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you speak closer to the mic, please?
Is this better? Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hello, members of the Board of Public Works, members of the public. My name is Michael Koo. I'm with LA Sanitation and Environment Financial Management Division. Today I'll be presenting first the board report and the authority for authorization for 11311 Pendleton Street, Unit B.
Pardon my interruption. Do you mind speaking a little bit louder into the mic?
Of course. The customer at 11311 Pendleton Street, Unit B, began ownership of this premise in June of 2018. At this time, this customer was paying LA Sanitation and Environment sewer service charges, as well as being connected to septic services. This customer discovered that they were paying for both septic and sewer service charges in 2021, and thus applied with LA Sanitation and Environment in February of 2021 for a request for adjustment for sewer service charges. After an investigation was performed for this customer, LA Sanitation confirmed that this customer has not been connected to city sewers and has been billed sewer service charges, or CSSC, since their sign-on date in June of 2018. Therefore, LA Sanitation and Environment has calculated a total refund amount of $396,212.22. This amount exceeds the department head refund authority limit of $63,476. Therefore, LA Sanitation and Environment is coming to request for Board of Public Works approval to issue this refund.
Thank you. Do you mind also covering item number 20 as well?
Yes. Thank you. So I can present on item number 20. This is the request for authority for 700 State Drive. The customer for 700 State Drive began ownership of their premise, otherwise known as the California Science Center, on May 12, 2005. Due to the presence of evaporative cooling towers, the customer believed that they discharged less than the default percent discharge, or DPD, of 93% for commercial customers, and thus requested for a commercial sewer service charge adjustment on January 25th, 2018 with LA Sanitation and Environment. After LA Sanitation and Environment investigation, it has been determined that this customer qualified for a commercial sewer service charge adjustment, discharging 72% of their water consumption as sewer usage, with this adjustment being retroactive to January 13th, 2017. This resulted in a total refund amount of $99,766.96, which exceeds the department head refund authority of $63,476. Therefore, LA Sanitation is requesting for Board of Public Works approval to issue this refund.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Any questions or comments related to number 19 and 20? All right. Seeing none, is there a first and a second to approve both 19 and 20?
Move. Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of items 19 and 20, starting with you, President Kay.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and 19 and 20 are adopted and referred to City Council forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 21 for Council District 1, tree removal at 2242 through 2252 North Cazador Drive and 2231 through 2245 North Carlisle Place and 2236 North East Carlisle Place.
There is there is one public comment on the virtual platform. If you like, you can hear the staff report first.
Yes, after the presentation.
Good morning, Honorable Board of Public Works. My name is Brian Ramirez. I am with the Streets LA Urban Forestry Division. What we bring before you is a request for this board to approve a fee permit to remove 4 protected trees, which include the 3 Southern California black walnut and 1 coast live oak tree for the construction of new single-family dwellings. This is relative to a planning case numbered VTT 82416. The applicant, Carlisle Place Partners LLC, is proposing to subdivide 5 lots into 10 lots for the construction, use, and maintenance of 20 dwelling units. There is already 7 existing on those 5 lots in an area that is zoned and designated for such development, and it measures approximately 1.8 acres. The project is located within the Northeast Los Angeles Community Plan Area and Mount Washington Glassell Park Specific Plan Area within Council District 1. And I do want to mention again that this project was previously approved by the Department of City Planning under that case I mentioned. The property owner acquired the services of an arborist who submitted a tree report to Streets LA for review. The arborist inspected the subject location, and they verified that there were 4 trees to itemize them, they were 3 Southern California walnut. They were number 2, 25, and 26, and 1 Coast Live Oak, which is number 28 on the maps within the transmittals. Again, identifying them for removal to be able to construct the project as proposed. The 1 Southern California black walnut, the reason for that removal is it's located within the footprint of a proposed driveway. All the grading and construction activity relative to that will impact the tree. And then there are also 2 other Southern California black walnuts and 1 oak tree that are within the footprint of the proposed dwellings, and that's the reason why those other trees are being removed. So again, to summarize, there's these 4 trees being removed. It is worthy to mention that the Streets LA does seek alternatives to preserve trees within the project. So we sought to preserve these trees. We met the applicant on several occasions to speak about the design in order to reduce the impact to some of those trees. So as a result, the applicant agreed to modify some of the outdoor decking on one of those dwellings to be able to retain 1 Coast Live Oak tree that was initially requested to be removed. So we were able to preserve 1. So according to the applicant, the impact is unavoidable for 4 of the 7 protected trees and shrubs. And there will also be, just again to summarize, there are 3 trees that we are preserving throughout construction for this project. So 4 are being removed, 3 are being preserved. As a condition, if the board approves the removal of these protected trees, the applicant shall plant 12 15-gallon size Southern California black walnut and 4 24-inch box size Coast Live Oak, and it's consistent with our 4-to-1 replacement policy here. Ensuring the survival of these trees, they shall be guaranteed by bond for a period of 3 years, and we will only issue the permit upon notification by the Bureau of Engineering that the bond has been posted, again to ensure that the trees will survive as they are replaced. As for public notifications, I just want to conclude with saying that the First Council District was informed of the tree removals permit request on May 27th, 2025. Streets LA also posted the trees for public viewing on the website back in October of 2024, and there were no objections raised by that particular council office. This concludes my presentation to the board, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. We'll take a single item public comment.
Thank you, President Kang. Marianne King, you should be receiving a pop-up. Go
Hi,
ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. Mary Ann King. I'm a Community Forest Advisory Committee Commissioner. However, I'm speaking today on behalf of myself. I first just want to say that I reached out to Urban Forestry when I saw the agenda for this item on June 6th. I never got a response. I reached out again, never got a response. This happens often, and it puts us, people who care about trees in the city, in a very tough spot, because you have documents in the packet that are illegible, double printed, can't read what it says. I don't know if you've looked at it, but you have a letter of determination and you have an environmental document that's illegible. But I'm here to actually ask that this be continued, because there is a healthy black walnut tree number 2, which I believe deserves a little more attention here. It is at the interface of 2 proposed driveways.
Thank you, Marianne. That's 60 seconds. And that concludes single item commentary on item 21 this morning.
Thank you. Can you address some of the comments raised by our public commenter?
Sure. As for the responses from the Urban Forestry, it is common for staff to receive email correspondence from many sources, including the general public, sometimes CFAC. The division, the department, the staff do their best to respond to those emails in a timely manner. while also ensuring the process and continue their operations. So if there's been any delay, it may be due to potential influxes in these large volume of emails that are to be responded to. I will emphasize that staff does respond to those requests, and I just would comment that sometimes potentially not in the time frame that the general public would sometimes expect. But again, we strive to keep a good response and ensuring that we do provide those responses.
Commissioners, any questions or comments related to this item? I have a quick question. Can someone, Brian, either yourself from UFD, or I know we have the applicant here as well, explain the thought process behind? I know people tried to save as many of the protected trees, but could you kind of elaborate how some trees were saved versus others?
Yes. So depending on the original approvals, the designs that are approved from earlier in the construction design process, that really sets the stage to what can be done to preserve trees. Any lot subdivision, again, that's already been approved in the past, may conflict with our ability to preserve trees. The intent, the goal is to save trees, save all the trees if we could. But unfortunately, there are constraints, everything from setback requirements to driveway approach minimum width requirements. All of those aspects come into play when we review these plans. As for tree number 2, which was mentioned by Marianne, the Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety does have requirements for parking stalls depending on the density of units. They have requirements for those vehicles to be able to enter in and out. And there are also grading requirements that they have to be able to get a lot to grade, essentially. So there's numerous elements. Specifically speaking, for this project, the only real thing I can speak to again was the effort that was made for a design change to take place in consultation with the applicant, to work with them to modify some of the deck, for example. That was a relatively easy fix that could be done. It didn't have any like setback requirements or anything like that. So I hope this kind of general response provides some insight as to our review process and desire to preserve trees.
All right. Thank you very much. Commissioners, last call for any questions or comments? All right. With that, I'll move to approve item number 21. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well, we will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 21, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes. Item 21 is adopted, subject to conditions, and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 23. 22 was part of consent for Office of Community Beautification for all council district, request for authority for graffiti removal.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, good morning. Paul Roch with the Office of Community Beautification. Today we're bringing before the board a request to execute various contracts with agencies to provide graffiti removal services across the city of Los Angeles. These recommendations are a result of a recent request for proposal that our office released at the beginning of the year and are based upon a review of those proposals received. These contracts would begin in July 2025 and carry through June of 2028. OCB is recommending that we continue contracts with 11 nonprofit community-based organizations to provide ongoing regular graffiti removal services, and one private graffiti removal company to provide specialty call-out graffiti removal services. Each of the received proposals was reviewed by 3 different persons, including at least one person on the OCB staff and at least one person who was not on the OCB staff, but another employee of the Board of Public Works. These are the current batch of OCB contractors. We are not recommending that any current contractors not receive a contract. As a result of the RFP, we did also receive bids from 2 other agencies that are not current contractors with OCB, but their proposed costs were extremely high compared to the others, and it did not make economic sense to offer a contract to either one of those agencies. Services as part of these contracts will provide graffiti abatement, both responding to requests for service as well as proactive graffiti abatement work. As these are 3-year contracts, the dollar amounts listed in the board report anticipate funding for the lifetime of the contract. They're the ceiling cap. They do not reflect, the current budget for 1 year worth of service. The graffiti removal budget for the upcoming fiscal year is going to be approximately $12 million, which is inclusive of regular graffiti removal, strike force crews, and specialty work. This is roughly the same budget that we've had for the current fiscal year. Over the past year, OCB contractors have removed over 35 million square feet of graffiti from approximately 600,000 locations throughout the city of Los Angeles. The value of the graffiti removal program was on display over the past week with heavy tagging in the downtown area. In less than a 1 square mile area last week, OCB contractors removed over 237,000 square feet of graffiti from 775 locations. This included abatement on the Federal Building, on the Caltrans Building, on the various courthouses around City Hall, on City Hall itself, and also on El Pueblo. These are areas that are not usually abated by OCB crews. However, OCB was the only agency that was able to get their abatement crews out so quickly and in such numbers as to be able to remove large amounts of tagging. So in closing, our office recommends and requests board approval, subject to approval of the Office of the Mayor, permission to execute graffiti removal contracts with the listed agencies. Seeing Mr. Jensen sitting right here, I do want to mention that all graffiti abatement contractors are subject to the state of California prevailing wage regulations and will comply with those. Thank you for your attention to this item, and I'm available to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments related to this item? Okay, President Pro Tem Grant.
I just want to, Paul, echo gratitude of your crew that has quickly, that they were dispatched in facing some tough times, difficult times to get out there and remove the graffiti, but it's really job well done. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And Vice President Chavez.
Sure, no, yeah. I mean, this is such a crucial, important service that is provided to the city, and it's a great example of the partnership that we have with our local nonprofits who, achieve a number of goals that we have as a city, including economic development, job opportunities, training, beautification, and providing help for folks that are living in their community and want to improve those areas. So I really do appreciate this. I think it's such a great success story for OCB to continue doing the work of uplifting our community organizations and achieving this really important work. I would, for me, I obviously support this. I think it's great that we continue to amplify this work. And so I would love to get updates or recommendations from you on how we can continue to do that, whether it's more of on the public relations side or partnering with our PAO. I know that they do great work and do highlight some of this work, but would love to continue doing that, how we can further amplify the work that is being done, just to educate the public about this. We all know about it, but does everyone in the public know? Everyone just calls 311 and the graffiti magically goes away, but I think it would be important to tell more of the stories of the folks that are actually doing the work.
Yeah, those are important points. I thank you for bringing them up. Graffiti is one of those things where if we're doing our job right, nobody really even knows that it was even up there. You know, you only notice it when there is the graffiti on the wall, and our crews have not yet had a chance to abate it. Another important point you made is over 100 jobs are provided through this program to residents of the city of Los Angeles. So both those folks that work in the field, as well as the office and admin people that support those in the field and have to do the data entry and everything like that as well. So thank you.
Thank you. One quick question. I know people hear about the delays in city services because of budget cuts, but I know that graffiti is one of the few services that we're relatively quick on. So can you remind everybody the current sort of average time it takes for graffiti to be removed after they're reported on MyLA 311?
On average, it's taking us around 72 hours or so. In a lot of cases, it may be quicker. In some cases, it may take longer. We have been struggling with the new 311 system, which is a lot more complicated for our contractors to work with, but they are getting the hang of that. As I did mention, the graffiti budget is roughly going to be the same as in the past year. Unfortunately, costs have gone up, including, as mentioned, the cost of labor due to prevailing wage increases. So, you know, we are hoping to not have much of an impact on the graffiti removal services, but it is possible that the increased cost and the budget being roughly the same may have, you know, some sort of impact on the ability to get out as quick as we would always like to.
Thank you very much. Any other final comments? Give me 1 second. There's one thing we have to check with.
So please don't interrupt. This is not a commentary time.
So I'll be recusing myself from this vote, but commissioners, is there a first and a second?
So move.
Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant and seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 23, starting with you, Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes with President Kang recusing. And this item is adopted and referred to Mayor forthwith.
All right. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 24 for Council District 8 for task order solicitation number 200, Tetra Tech, Inc.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Chuck Kwan, Senior Civil Engineer for Bureau of Street Services. I'm here to present the project for Western Our Way, and we request the board to authorize the city engineer to issue this task order to Tetra Tech from the pre-qualified on-call list, Bridge Civil Engineering, and other designs and support services. The Western Our Way project, it's a grant-funded project, and it will provide pedestrian and cyclist improvements along Western Avenue from MLK to Century Boulevard. The work will include curb extensions, traffic circles, left turn signal upgrades, pedestrian beacons, bus bulb outs, bus shelters, bus benches, and it will improve the cyclist through lanes. This project will also provide additional safety for pedestrians, lower the street crossing time with the bulb outs. And this ends my presentation. I'm open to any questions you may have.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments related to number 24? All right, seeing none, I'll move to approve item number 24. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Very well, we will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 24, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes. Item 24 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 25 for Council District 14, Contract Acceptance Sidewalk Repair Program, Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request, Acceleration Package number 12.
Good morning, Mr. President, Commissioners, Deputy City Attorney Choi, and Mr. Knight. My name is Chris Jensen. I am the Labor Compliance Officer for the City of Los Angeles. I am here this morning to address an issue we had with Rojas Construction on Small Sidewalk Package number 12. This project is one of the Small Sidewalk Repair Program projects. That program is designed to give small contractors the opportunity to get their feet wet and work on city projects. The job of my office is to ensure that workers on public works projects are paid what the law requires, either state or federal wages. We're here to work with contractors. Our role, as my mentor said, is to educate, assist, and direct the contractors. If that does not go as it should, then we are here to enforce the law. Now, unfortunately, in the case of Rojas, they did not play by the rules. We have a number of contractors that we deal with that have embraced what the requirements are. We always explain to them everything before there is a meeting with every contractor on every project before we ever start, pre-construction meeting. We go down the list, you are required to do this and this and this. And if they don't, then we tell them we will do what we are required by law to do. Rojas has been on 4 different projects. There either are on or have been on 4 different projects. Inspectors on all 4 of the projects have recorded sometimes 4, 5, or 6 workers when Rojas has reported 1, 2, or 3 workers. So there are workers there that are on the projects that honestly we don't know who they are. They're not on any payrolls. In most cases, we don't know who they are. On March 3rd of this year, Ms. Wells and Mr. Cruz, sitting to my left, went out to a job site, one of Rojas's job sites, and interviewed 5 different workers. When the payrolls came in, 3 of the workers were on the payrolls. The other 2 are nowhere to be seen. In another case, one of our inspectors reported Rojas's arborist and his 2 assistants were on the project, but none of them are on any payrolls either. Rojas probably brought them in as a subcontractor. We don't know that for certain. Now, we're a state certified labor compliance program. We have to abide by what the California Labor Code and the California Code of Regulations requires. It prescribes the actions that must be taken when it appears that there's been a violation. We did everything that we were required to do, and Ms. Wells was the analyst on this project. She actually went above and beyond in notifying Rojas of what they were to do, or attempting to notify Rojas. This was back in 2022, but Rojas never responded in any way until we notified them just a couple of months ago that this project was now going to the board. There were a lot of delays in getting Rojas to turn in their payrolls to us. Without the payrolls, we can't do our job. That's basically the main thing we need to start our work is the payrolls. They claimed back in 2022 or 2021 that there were COVID-related delays. When we did finally get the payrolls, Ms. Wells took a look at them and found discrepancies, found the inspector reporting, as I alluded to a moment ago, more workers on the project than are on their certified payrolls. On May 5th of 2022, she sent an assessment for $9,615.68 for underreporting 5 workers. That was most of that, the lion's share of that, about $6,500 was restitution for those workers, exactly $3,000 in penalties to the city, and then about $85 for training funds that were not paid. On May 10th of that year, we received a call from an unidentified female saying that she would get proof to the Office of Contract Compliance that the workers were paid. On the 16th, so 6 days later, we still had no contact from Rojas, but Ms. Wells called again and left a voicemail. By June 22nd, over a month later, still no contact from Rojas. So on the 29th, I had directed Ms. Wells to send a request for approval of forfeiture to the state, which is the step that we're required to do, with a copy to Rojas. On August 11th of that year, the state approved it. A copy went to Rojas. On September 2nd of 2022, we notified Rojas of their rights, which includes the right to a hearing, and we put a hold on the remaining funds. Now, because this project was so small, the final retention on that project was only a little more than $2,100. $2,121.69 was all that was in the retention. So we put a hold on that. According to Section 1742 of the California Labor Code, a contractor has 60 days to request a hearing. If they don't, and this is quoting from the California Labor Code, the assessment shall become final. Rojas never requested the hearing. Therefore, the assessment is final. On March 31st of 2023, we informed Rojas that the decision was final and that they owed $16,231.36. This included $6,615.68 for liquidated damages, as per Section 1742.1 of the code. Those liquidated damages, it's a one-time doubling of the wages. That all goes to the worker. That includes no penalties to the city or the state or anyone else. That all goes to the workers who were underpaid or not paid at all. We're asking that the board concur with the assessment of the, as I mentioned, $16,231.36 for failure to report workers and underpayment of wages. We're asking that the board instruct the Office of Accounting to disencumber the $2,121.60 from the retention, forward that amount to our office for distribution to the state for the underfound workers. And because the amount was relatively small, the amount of the assessment exceeds the amount of the retention, we're asking that the board concur with our position and instruct the Office of Accounting to collect the remaining $14,109.67 from Rojas. That breaks down to, as it says on the board report, $11,024.87 to which would be a check payable to the state. That's for restitution to the workers. $3,000 to the city for penalties, and $84 to the California Apprenticeship Council for the unpaid training funds. Now, I do want to add in one other thing. There are 3 other projects that we have not dealt with yet with Rojas. They are coming. They are in the works. We would prefer to work with Rojas and get this resolved before it ever has to come to the board or go to the state. As of yet, they are still maintaining that they only have 3 workers for the company, when we know for a fact this is not true. We have the evidence not only from our inspectors reporting, but from our own staff interviewing workers who are not reported. Section 1725.5 of the Labor Code requires any contractor who bids or is listed on a bid for work, or who actually works on a public works project, to be registered with the state. Section A2C of 1725.5 states that any contractor who has an outstanding judgment against them may not register on a public works project in the state of California. We hope to get this resolved with Rojas before it goes to that point. Any questions?
Thank you very much for the detailed presentation. Commissioners, any questions or comments? President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you for the report again. So if this is not resolved, will they be pulled from those 3 other projects?
I'm sorry, a little.
So if this is not resolved, will they be pulled from the other projects that they're currently on?
Sorry, one more time.
Okay. Will they be pulled from the projects that they're currently on?
I believe those projects are pretty close to done. So the chance of either completely finished or almost finished. So I think they will probably be able to finish them.
Vice President Chavez.
I have just questions about the monitoring and the way that we do monitoring. Is there a way that we can implement more frequent audits so that we can discover, violations sooner rather than later?
We really prefer to do that, but with the number of staff we have and the amount of projects that we have, it's very difficult. We do get on them as quickly as possible. In this case, it was held up by Rojas not getting us the payrolls. So we had to take the legal steps we had to get them to turn in the payrolls. So this one all goes back to Rojas.
I mean, I always looked at technology as potential solutions. And, in instances like this, should we be requiring, digital submissions of payroll data during projects, during construction projects?
We actually do that. The payrolls are due weekly. And we do have the city's online certified payroll system, which was developed in our office. It's digital. Way back when I started this almost 30 years ago, it was all paper, and we had a pencil and an eraser. But yes, we are digital now. We have been for some time.
Okay, and so I guess what other early warning systems can we be implementing to identify contractors who failed to submit, accurate information? Is there other systems that we can be implementing?
I can actually add something to that, yes. Our inspectors out on the job do a terrific job, but and they do interview workers from time to time, but they also have other concerns. Their main concern is safety out on the job. They want to make sure if somebody's down in a 10-foot deep trench with no shoring, they get out of there. So they're not killed in a collapse or something like that. They're looking at quality of materials. But part of what they look at, yes, they interview workers. Sometimes they're not able to cover everybody. If they've got 60 workers on a project, it's hard to get to interview them all. Our own staff get out as often as they can to interview workers, but we had a program that we started back in 2007, and we continued it up until the end of 2019, then COVID hit, called the Joint Labor Compliance Monitoring Program, which allowed non-city workers, very carefully regimented non-city employees, to go out and interview workers for us. That program was put on hold during COVID. We are restarting it, and I believe as of July 1st, so a week or 2 weeks from now, we will have that back in action again. So we will be getting more information coming into our office quicker.
And then in terms of just education for contractors, I mean, are we providing sufficient information and training to contractors before they, either at the pre-contract stage? So either orientation sessions, education sessions, so they're fully informed all the wage requirements, all of the reporting obligations, and is that being done?
Yes, well, as I mentioned before, every project starts, we always meet with the contractor, and we ask them to bring their subcontractors as well. And we go over a checklist that's very detailed. When I started, it was 2 pages. Now it's 6. But besides that, we also do a free class once a month. I actually created the class about 15 years ago. Turned it over 7 or 8 years ago to staff. When I did the class, it ran about 3 hours because I don't shut up. Once I start talking, it's
shocked.
hard. So.
And are we communicating, so during that orientation session, are we communicating what the consequences are, what the financial consequences are of non-compliance and
Absolutely.
non-reporting? Okay.
Absolutely, yes. We definitely talk about dollar amounts. And when I did the class, I would give numerous examples of things that had happened that you don't want to do. And there's possible consequences beyond financial penalties. Our office has been responsible for sending 5 contractors to prison. So, yeah.
Yeah, serious consequences.
It's serious. And we're looking at we're working with the Orange County District Attorney right now on a possible 6th.
So on that vein of consequences, what are the sort of disqualifications for repeated violators? And are there any?
For
bidding on projects, for example.
Okay. Depending on what it is, they may have been found non-responsible and not be able to work on any city project for a while, a period of time, and anywhere from usually 1 to 3 years. But if that has happened and they've come back into the system, as has happened with a couple of contractors, there's a couple of contractors we're dealing with now that had significant fines and penalties assessed against them in the past. They've cleaned up and they play by the rules now. So I don't want to name names here, but they've learned their lesson, basically.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And do we, when those instances happen, do we require any additional insurance or bonding requirements at the pre-contract stage?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I don't believe there's any additional bonding that's required. But I think what we have in place is, in vast majority of cases, really it's significant, and it is adequate to respond to whatever is necessary. The example I mentioned to you, 1725.5 of the Labor Code, that's pretty serious. If they get hit with that and we turn them over to the state license board, they lose their license. They can't work in the state.
Right.
So
And remind us what resources there are for workers at BCA. So a hotline where they can call to report for workers, where they can report violations. Is that anonymous? What's the process?
it is anonymous. Part of the labor code requires it to be anonymous. Section 1726 of the labor code is basically, it's a whistleblower law. We have anonymous complaints come in every once in a while. So far this year, I believe we had about 40 complaints come in. Some of them wish to be anonymous, some of them don't. But we take information from anywhere we can get it. Our inspectors are great. Our inspectors out on the project are terrific. If I go walking out onto a job site, this might surprise you, but I'm a big old white guy. And they look at me and they've never seen me before. And they don't know who I am, so they may not tell me everything that I want to know. But the inspectors are out there with them every day. And maybe they sit and have lunch with them and they talk about, oh, the Dodgers last night, what were they doing? Or I've got a 13-year-old daughter and she's driving me crazy. And okay, they talk to each other. So our inspectors give us a lot of information. They have our numbers, they'll call.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the detailed work. I just have one quick question. When these violations occur, does the public get notified anywhere, or is it posted anywhere that Rojas or any other construction contractors have violated?
We do not post it. We do notify the state license board, and the state license board would put it on their website.
Got it.
But we do not ourselves.
All right. So thank you very much. Seeing that we don't have any additional comments or questions, I'll move to approve item number 25. Is there a second? Yep.
The contractor
yes.
is here.
Okay.
If okay.
Sure.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the time to let us speak.
Can you please speak into the
Sorry
mic,
about
please?
that. Thank you for the opportunity to let us speak. So we're talking about project number 12. We were called into
Excuse me, pardon the interruption. Do you mind stating your name for the record and like a quick introduction of who you are?
My name is Naomi Rojas. This is Junior Rojas. We are a small company. It's my husband and my 3 sons that work for the company. So we started the project, and when Ms. Wells was attempting to contact us in 2022, when Mr. Jensen indicated there was no response, I had COVID, and along with my husband, we were in the hospital for quite a long time, and we were down. That's why there was no response in the beginning. We did receive notice of completion for this project. We thought it was done and over with. On March 13th, we were attending a meeting with the Code Compliance Department for 26 is when they gave us this information on number 12, which is what we're here for. So when the inspectors had reported additional employees, when the inspectors come out, they interview the workers, they get their name and all their information. The report that the inspector turned for additional employees had John Doe 1 through 5, indicating that what was done on the job was irrigation landscape. We weren't at that it was the first week of the project, which we demo and assess. So there was no landscape irrigation. So we don't know where this information came from. We did ask at that meeting, can we get some names, some more information? The hours that they have are wrong. We were on the project for 3 hours on that particular day. They have the John Does there for 8 hours. How are we going to contest this? For people that aren't there.
Hi, my name is Junior Rojas. I'm the guy is actually always on the site, and the way it goes with the inspectors, they're there not every day, but most of the days they're there. And the days I have several texts from inspectors, hey, what'd you guys do, man count, and what tools were out there? So the inspectors are not there every single day at the job site. And then the questioning of some of the days where they have more people than usual, we have our own trucks, and we do have 2 truck drivers, but they do no work on the job. They're literally there to go there. They lay down the bin, we pick up the concrete and put them in there. So it's a service. They're not actually doing no physical work on the actual job site, but driving. So, I mean, a few of those days I seen, those were when we had the trucks out there with 2 truck drivers doing no physical work. And if there are workers, the inspector goes over there and actually asks for the name. So I don't understand why they have John Doe's or this people and that people. And there's another day where they had people also out there for the irrigation, and that's actually DWP that came out. They had 2 people to notify us on what to do, because on that project, we took out the concrete and the water pipe going to the residents was in the actual tree trunk, in the branch. So they had to tell us what to do. So they notified us that on this day, we're at to tell the residents, we're at to turn off the water, and then we're going to have to fix it and replace it. So, I mean, again, they're probably driving by, seeing these extra people. I mean, it's very small concrete. There's not many people who could fit picking up concrete as we're demoing with the hammer. I mean, there's really, how many people can you really have picking up concrete and dumping it? In a 4-foot span, it's literally a walkway. We have 8 people just standing there, just load it up, pick it up, dump it. I mean, I could understand if it was a very big project, then I would understand that. But you're talking about sidewalk here, and not that much sidewalk. So what would we have 8 guys standing around as we're demoing sidewalk? It doesn't make sense to me. And then the days that they say we're doing the irrigation, we're actually, that's the issue, because some of these inspectors are wrong, and it's just what it is. That's why we ask for evidence. What, do you have pictures of these extra people? Do you have names? Because why would you ask for my name and not ask for anybody else's name who you don't know on the job that's doing work? That's not the way it works. Anybody that, if we have extra, they'll come. Well, what's your name? Okay, boom. That's how do you think they got our names of who's actually working? So, I mean, there's a lot of situations that are going, because the only person who was on site for the actual city is the inspectors. And like I said, they're not there every single day. And they make mistakes too, because there's other jobs that we've been on, like, not only that, but if the first week you're having issues, you're saying we're not reporting 8 guys or the first pay period, then why would you go into the next pay period? Or hold on, there's an issue here. Why are you saying there's only these many guys when there's 20 other guys I see? There's a lot of stuff that's in question over here, and it doesn't make sense, because we do work for other cities also. Like, we just got done with the city of Lawndale, and before we actually get paid out, before they pay us out of everything, every little thing that they go to, if they have any questions of payroll people or anything, they come to us before they actually pay us out. But on these jobs, we've been paid out, so it doesn't make sense why they're coming back 3-4 years later.
We've even received the notice of completion on this project.
We have the notice of completion on this project. So how do we get a notice of completion, but yet we have all these issues? It just doesn't compute. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's just, it's pretty much our word against the inspector's word that's not there every single day.
And when we attended this meeting and they brought this to our attention and we asked for names, they said they were going to contact the inspectors.
Well, they were going to find more information
get
and then
that
come back, but we never had that opportunity for them to reach the inspector to see what he has to say about it. Because again, if you're saying these many people, like, who are these people? That's all we wanted to know. Like, what extra people are you talking about? Because like I said, DWP came out. There's other people who came out. So, I mean, are you confusing us with them?
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Commissioners, any questions, additional questions or comments? President Pro Tem Grant.
Can we get some answers from the contract administrator? If you can answer some of these.
Mr. Jensen, if you could address some of the issues raised by our folks from Rojas.
The main point here is if they have an argument, they should have brought it up in a hearing. They never did. We offered the opportunity. We gave them every chance to request a hearing. What they're saying to you, really, it's a moot point as far as you as commissioners are concerned. This should have been addressed to a hearing officer with the state. We would have made our case. We would have had the inspectors there. We've got the paperwork, the payrolls that indicate. I just moments ago was looking at one that says they had 2 foremen and an operator, a laborer, and I believe the third was a carpenter. So that's 5 workers. Now they're saying 2 truck drivers. These are not truck drivers. These are not water and power employees that are stopping by looking at the project. These are people who are working on the project. When Mr. Wells and Mr. Cruz went out and interviewed the workers, they talked to 5 individuals. We have names and addresses and phone numbers of those individuals. They observed them working. I'm not sure if you took any photographs that day. Yes, okay, they took photographs that day. Okay, if the board doesn't mind.
On the last, on the last small sidewalk. Oh, I'm
Can you
sorry.
please introduce yourself?
Araceli Wells. I'm the labor compliance analyst for number 12. However, for sidewalk number 40, which my colleague Carlos is monitoring, we went to that site and actually took pictures. Turns out one of the guys was disappeared. So again, we have a picture of several of them, and then we only got to interview only a few of those. So again, that was for sidewalk 40. For 12, every effort was made to get a response from the contractor. None was received. So for 12, we recommend, as Mr. Jensen had pointed out.
As well, I mentioned the arborist coming in. I'm sure they know who their arborist is. They probably hire a subcontractor for that. It's somebody and 2 workers that work with them. We don't know who they are. I'm sure they do, but we've never been given any information on those.
Commissioners, any additional questions or comments? Vice President Chavez.
It just seems that this isn't the right venue to be discussing like what the evidence is, what the circumstances are, and question. It seems like there should have been a hearing on this. It seems like there's a question about whether that was, or I guess BCA is saying that it was not requested at the right time. So is there a still opportunity to have this hearing? To have that testimony, the evidence presented, the documentation? Because I would prefer that to occur before this matter comes before me.
I have some questions. Ms. Rojas, Mr. Rojas, would you come forward, please? The Bureau has included as part of the board report, staff report, communication and correspondence going back to 2022, February 10th, 2022, February 17th, letters, emails that were sent to you. Did you receive those back then?
No, like I said, I had COVID.
You have what?
I had COVID at that time.
Can you speak into the mic, please?
I apologize. I had COVID. I was hospitalized along with my husband at the end of February 2022.
What about letters in
hospitalized
March
for 2 weeks.
2022,
Yeah,
March
we were
16th?
hospitalized for 2 weeks, and then we were out of it, like homebound for like a month after.
Well, you defaulted pretty much back, and they sent you notification of a judgment in March of 2023. You didn't respond until now?
Well, so we don't have a back end office. I have a full-time job. I work for the city of El Segundo. I help my husband out with paperwork when I can. And in this case, for the city. It wasn't until we attended a meeting for another project that they brought this. I thought it was, you have to understand, we get thousands of emails most of them junk. I don't go through everything, so I wasn't aware of this until they brought it to us in 2025. Is when I first became aware of it, and we tried to address it then, and we were asking questions, and they were going to get back to us once they confirmed with the inspector more information, and that never happened.
What was the status of your contract or of your contractor's
Well,
license?
we
Ma'am, you can't answer a question I haven't finished,
I'm sorry.
so just be patient with me, okay? Did you ever receive anything from the state contractor's license that your license was in jeopardy?
No.
Did you ever, had you had any final payment with regard to this particular job?
Yes.
When
We
did you finish the
received a
job?
Notice of completion and the retention also.
When
I
did,
have a copy
when
of
did you
that.
get the notice of completion?
Yeah, it's in my folder. We got it on, it was in 2022. April 21st, 2022, statement of completion, SRP, small sidewalk access request, acceleration package
So you
number
have
12,
a notice of completion, but you're saying, what was the date again?
April 21st, 2022.
Okay, they sent you letters in that same time frame. You said you never received anything.
I just reprinted.
Between February,
Yeah, it was issued in 2024.
I'm sorry?
April 24th, 2024 is the date on it that it was issued. It was signed and I guess submitted, but it was sent to us on April 24th, 2024.
But you didn't receive any emails, any letters that the Bureau was sending you with regard to
Not,
these violations?
no. So the email started and Araceli emailed me a list of when the emails went out, starting in 2022 of February, ending in May 5th, 2022.
And they were asking you for records. They brought those issues up to you by email
They did.
between
And I
February.
wasn't available, but
Ma'am,
we
can you
did
stop
complete it.
interrupting me? An attachment to a letter dated June 29, 2022, that was sent to the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement, has attachments of emails sent between February 10, 2022, all the way to May 5th, 2022, with an assessment dated May 25th, May 5th, 2022, with a summary of assessed wage restitution and penalty log. You didn't receive those?
They may have came in, but I did not. Like I said, I
Did you
go
receive, is
through.
it possible you received them, but you didn't act on them?
I can say that I didn't because I would have acted on it.
Pardon?
If I would have received it, I would have acted on it.
You said you found out about this when you had met on another matter. When was that?
Correct. It was on March 18th
Of what
at
year?
1:30, 2025.
Did you ask for a hearing at that time?
I did say, they asked if we wanted to go to the board. He was there also.
They asked what?
It could go to
Hold
the
on.
board. If it can go to the board, it would go to the board. And I thought that was the opportunity to present our findings.
So basically, they gave you this on a prior job. You were submitting or having a pre-construction meeting with regard to a job this year.
No.
Can I finish?
Mhm.
A job this year, they brought it to your attention and you didn't do anything?
The meeting, it wasn't a pre-construction. It was regarding another project.
Another sidewalk project
Correct.
that you were either bidding on or had
That we
received,
were on, yes.
that you were bidding on?
No, we had already received the project.
That's what I'm saying. It's the beginning of a new project.
Yes.
They bring this to your attention with regard to something from 3 years ago,
Correct.
and you didn't do anything.
Well, that's why I'm here now. I discussed it with them at the time, and we could come to the board. So that's what I thought we were doing.
So,
To act on it.
so until this came before the board today, 3 months later, you didn't follow up and find out what you could do about it?
No, I did. Araceli told me that it was complete. It's already going to the board.
But when, did you understand what that meant?
Everything's been, it's in the system. I mean, I reported the payroll. That was done prior to it. That's not why we're here. We're here is because they're accusing us of having extra workers that we did not have.
And from a job as you did 3 years ago, correct?
Correct, yes.
But you didn't follow up to find out what information they had with regard to that job at the time you were meeting in March of 2022, this year?
No, they gave me that information at the meeting.
They gave you the information that is
Yeah,
before the board today,
Yeah,
correct?
they told me about the landscaper. I'm sorry. Yes.
I'm sorry, sir, no, please.
Just because, sorry.
Let her talk, she's doing a good job, okay?
No, I know, but
All right, I know. I'll let you talk in a minute. So in May of 2025, you were meeting on another job that you have received
Yes.
after this one. They brought it to your attention, you got the documents at that time, correct? I'm sorry, you're
Yes.
nodding your head, you have to
Yes.
say yes, thank you. And you didn't do anything, she said we'd go to the board. Did you ask what that meant?
Well, I assumed that we would be able to discuss it. I didn't know.
So you didn't follow up with her and say, can I go through this and figure out what the situation is?
I did, and she says, it's already going to the board. It's already done. It's going to the board.
Had you received all payment with regard to this job 3 years ago? You just have to say yes or no, please.
Yes.
So when she said it was going to the board, you didn't know what that meant?
I assumed it was to discuss it.
Sir, is there anything you want to add to the record with regard to the questions?
No.
Okay. Ms. Wells, you want to approach?
Just to make sure you have the timeline correct, for the small sidewalk 26, we were meeting on February 20th about that. And
Hold
that,
on, I can't understand what you're saying.
okay, just to kind of give you the timeline of the time that she's mentioning, we spoke for the small sidewalk 26 on February 20th. And that is when I did email her the paperwork for small sidewalk 12 on February 20th of 2025. So just to give you a time frame. She mentioned May, so I'm not sure where she's getting May from. But here I have February 20th. Hi again, Naomi, as mentioned in our meeting here, the correspondences on the above project for your info. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't have that in your paperwork, but just to give you an idea of when this small sidewalk 12 came to her attention was on February 20th when we were meeting for the other second project that they had, small sidewalk 26. Correct, that's when we mentioned. Repeat that part?
Did you give her copies of the documents?
Yes, on February 20th.
Did you make her understand that it was, that you had concluded that there wasn't compliance with the pre-contract number sidewalk 12,
I'm sorry.
packets of 12?
Yes, my boss mentioned that nothing more could be done for number 12.
I'm sorry?
Except my supervisor?
No,
Kristen-
saying when you met with her on February 20th,
Yes,
that you make her aware that of this outstanding issue
Oh,
with regard
yes.
to the previous job, which I understood was number 12.
Correct, because when we discuss these previous issues with the contractor, we bring up whatever last issue they had. So because we were meeting on number 26, we brought up, and remember, this is what you had for 12, and that's when she brought it to our attention that she never got anything. However, I do have a certified mail by the USPS.
Did you send it back, send her another copy of all the documentation?
Just from the one we sent to the state. And yes,
Uh,
it did have the actual USPS acknowledgement. At least I believe it is.
I'm sorry. What did you, did,
The United
you
States.
had the, hold on. You had a meeting on February 20th, 2025, correct? Yes? No?
And that was the meeting we had for small
The
sites.
answer is yes or no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. At that time, you brought up the issues that from the previous contract,
Number
correct?
12. Correct.
Did she have, did she act like she was familiar with the documentation that had previously been sent?
She claimed she doesn't remember all of that. She was in the hospital, and her dad had passed away around that time. So somebody, there was a death. Yeah,
Okay.
your father.
So then my question to you is, did you then send her copies of these documents that we have before us today?
Most of them, yes, I believe so.
Did you ever?
Yes, because everything we sent to the state is what we sent to her again.
I'm sorry, you're fading in and
Oh,
out.
I'm sorry. Everything we sent to the state, we sent to her again. And you have the copies of what was sent to the state, correct?
Are you talking about the letter to the contractors licensing board?
Yes, you should have that request for approval of forfeiture in your paperwork. That would be attachment 2.
I have several letters to Row House Construction and also part of the package, also some documents that were sent to the contractors licensing board.
It should be number 2.
So what I'm asking is the documents that represent the board report before us today, including correspondence to Row House Construction as well as the emails, was that sent again after your meeting on February 20th?
It was, yes.
Okay, did you ever hear back from,
No, and that is the issue at hand. I've never received any real responses or acknowledgement from them on anything.
did you tell her that that was going to the board at that time in February 2025?
Yes, we explained that it was going to the board, and according to
And
Mr.
when you say it,
Jensen,
did you explain to her what that meant in terms of going to the
Yes.
board? What did you tell her what that meant?
well, I'll let Mr. Jensen explain what he.
Well, I'm asking you in your
Well, I
conversation.
didn't really tell them other than I was there to observe that Mr. Jensen was explaining. It will go to the board. You may present your case, but there's nothing more we can do because it's already going to the board.
Okay, so was Mr. Jensen present at the time you were speaking with her?
Correct.
Okay, so, wait a minute, Mr. Jensen.
What's that? Oh, you want?
So did you explain what that meant? That's what my question is.
Well,
What
that's the
going to
point. I
board
did
is.
not explain anything. Mr. Jensen did, and
But
that's what
Mr.
he
Jensen was
pointed out.
present at the
I
time.
was present at the time, and
And
he
did
was
he explain what that meant?
explained that nothing more could be done because we were going to be presenting it to the board now. However, for number 26, there's still a chance
What
for
about
them.
the 26?
For small sidewalk 26,
Oh,
there
you're
is-
talking about the project?
for small
26.
sidewalk 26?
Yeah.
That's the next project they had with me, which I also assessed them for underreporting workers, which we brought to their attention. We need supporting
Listen to me. On
documentation.
February 20th, 2025.
Yes.
Were you meeting on number 26?
Yes.
And what were you meeting on number 26 about?
Underreporting workers on that project as well.
So that project had already been done or
As
was in the
well.
process of being done?
It was already done, and again, I came across discrepancies on that second project seeing that there were more workers seen on the site than what they reported. When we meet with these contractors, we point out any previous incidents, which brought up number 12. You had issues on 12. Now you're having issues on number 26. And that's when it was all brought to her attention that she didn't get anything.
So it wasn't like you were meeting at the beginning of number 26. You were meeting on number 26 because it had already started, and was it near
And it had
completion?
ended. I believe it's already done as well. 26 is done.
So you're basically saying we had the same problems at this meeting that you're having on 20th is about project number 26, let's just call
Yes.
it. And then saying you had the same problems on number 12.
Yes.
Did she know what you were talking about when you said 12?
She claims she did not, but that's when I sent her the email of all that we had
No, you,
transpired.
are you,
But that's when
are you physically meeting in person on the 20th of February?
Yes, we physically met.
Okay, told her, you were talking about the current project and the problems on that and referring back to the project from 3 years before, correct?
Correct. Just to let her know, yes, that it was going to be coming up to the board.
And then did you send her copies of what the project, number
Yes.
12?
Yes, everything in regards to what we sent to the state, we sent to her. And that's the request for approval of forfeiture.
Commissioner Mitchell, pardon my interruption. I'm also very confused now, having heard from both sides the timeline. And I would love to have all day to, discuss this back and forth, but I would like to offer a continuance to further flesh out all the details from both sides. So just given the complexity of the case, if there's no urgency, I would like to propose a continuance for July 9th, 2025, which is about a
Okay.
month.
All righty. Oh,
Then, Mr. Johnson, we'll kind of coordinate with you on a best availability. You're returning on that day? Any day after that, it's fine? Okay, we'll do that.
thank you for your time. Oh,
You want to turn on your mic?
At that time, can we possibly make sure, I don't know how to do this. We shouldn't have to examine and cross-examine people with regard to the issues before us when we're being asked to make a simple vote. Please make sure that the Rojas have copies of the documents that are part of this board report so that they know what we're looking at.
oh, they should have been, yes.
And so also, can we also make sure that if there's any further statements that you want to make with regard to what you've heard so far, because then we would be talking about what Mr. Jensen told her at that point in time.
Okay.
In that part of that conversation. And also, Ms. Rojas, you can also address that as well. Because basically, we're asked to approve or disapprove or whatever the situation, make a decision. So we're not going to do this extensive examination next go-round. Whatever you have to submit, if you have a written statement, Ms. Rojas, if you have a written statement, you know what the issues are before us at this point in time, please make sure she has another copy of that. You can also, if you're going to do a written statement, make sure that they have a copy so that they can respond. So if you want to just write a written statement and talk about what we've already talked about on the record here, then just do that,
Very
okay?
well.
All right, so we know, you mentioned timeline. Just put the timeline together and then make sure they have a copy. You send a copy to the board, to Mr. McKnight, and we'll make it part of the record and we'll resolve it at that time, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Vice President Chavez, you had a comment.
I just want to ensure that there's an opportunity given to Rojas to provide any clarifying documentation, evidence, whatever it is, explanations. Make sure you put all that together in writing. And because it's not clear to me that that opportunity was given in the past. So we want to, I would like to ensure that that is given to them, so.
Mr. Knight?
And for just 2 quick points for the contractor, for any clarifying documents, if you would copy, if you would send include the Board of Public Works Executive Officer Elise Mattson on those and copy myself, tj.knight@lacity.org. Your analyst and the Labor Compliance Officer at Con Ed can provide you with those email addresses, so you don't need to write them down now. And a second request to President Kang would be on the continuance, if we could identify an actual date, given that the Labor Compliance Officer will be out until the 9th. I don't want to.
Let's set for the 16th.
Okay, very well. Is that, okay, excellent, thank you. So this item 25 will be continued to July 16th, 2025.
Yes. Thank you very much. So now moving on to item number 26, President Pro Tem Grant. No, as president, I have the authority to continue. Thank you very much. So moving on to item number 26 for all council district contract acceptance, emergency sewer storm drain repair, quarterly acceptance report.
Well, it's good afternoon now. President Kang and Commissioners, Seffi Wiles, Bureau of Contract Administration, recommending the board accept this quarterly report for the emergency sewer and storm drain repair program. This report covers 132 sewer projects and 10 storm drain projects that were conducted citywide. Attached to our board report was a summary table that details the construction orders that represent the work that was performed during 2017 through 2024. These construction orders were initiated by the Bureau of Sanitation for necessitating emergency work in our city. The cost and scope of the work were valued at under $700 for the least, and the most was at $3.1 million. And this entailed anything from small spot repairs to cleanings, as well as full remove and replace mainline piping. This work was performed either on a time and material basis or agreed price. There are no funds disputed or withheld, therefore no funds due to the contractors, which there's 23 are not pre-qualified on-call contract list. The contractors have complied with the equal employment opportunity and labor compliance requirements of the respective contracts. Being that there is no business enterprise participation levels established, there are none to report at this time due to the emergency nature of our contract. There are no unresolved property owners' complaints in connection with any of the projects. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Any comments or questions related to number 26? Seeing none, I'll move to approve 26. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 26, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes, and item 26 is adopted forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to number 28. 27 was part of consent. For Council District 11 Capital Improvement Project 8210 Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Ibrahim Hafiz. I am a project manager with the Bureau of Engineering Environmental Engineering Division. Today I'll be briefing on the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant East and West Retaining Walls Repair, which is CIP number 8210. This project is located in Council District 11, and this is a joint board report between the Bureau of Engineering and the Bureau of Sanitation. This board report is requesting authorization to use the construction services contract, otherwise known as Cisco, and issue task work orders for a not to exceed amount of $850,000. The board action requested is to approve the use of Cisco to execute time-sensitive repairs for the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant and authorize the city engineer to issue task work orders to the contractor, which is Murray Company. So a little bit of background about the project in Hyperion. Hyperion is the city's largest wastewater treatment facility, capable of treating about 450 million gallons per day, and is critical to wastewater operations, bioresource recovery, and public safety. There are two retaining walls that encompass the plant. On the west side, which is the ocean-facing retaining wall, this wall prevents public trespassing, protects key infrastructure from vandalism, and is a tsunami-rated flood wall in the event of an earthquake. Over the years, we've observed deterioration, which includes rebar oxidation, concrete cracking, corroded fencing, and all of which pose a serious structural and safety risk to staff and the public. And failure of this wall could disrupt major conduits and facilities on site. On the other side of the plant, we have a 45-foot-long series of retaining walls that support hillside stability. So there's a very large hill at the top of which we have a lot of residential communities, and there's a private access road as well. So we've found that there's horizontal concrete cracks that have formed over time that threaten the perimeter road, which is located at the top of the hill, and its adjacent facilities. And so debris containment in the event of a large rain event is also required at the base of the slope to prevent equipment and roadway damage, again, during rainfall. So the scope of work for this project will include about 1,400 square feet of concrete spalling repair, rehabilitating about 300 square feet of corroded rebar, installing 900 linear feet of K-rail on the east side of the plant, and then rehabilitating about 1,300 to 1,400 linear feet of concrete cracks. All in all, we'll also be repairing some of the steel post and chain link hardware on the west retaining wall, where we found that because of the corroded concrete, we've seen the degradation of the chain link fence, which could be a security hazard for the plant. So total, including contingency, we are looking at a project cost of $850,000. And again, this project is a Cisco project, and one of the reasons why we want Cisco is that the project involves, the entire site involves complex area-specific concrete repairs, many of which can't be precisely scoped out in advance because there are literally hundreds of repairs that might be needed. And so Cisco enables real-time field adjustments and rapid response for unforeseen conditions that a normal bid and award project may not allow or would be budget prohibitive to conduct. There's also alignment with ongoing plant operations without incurring plant delays that traditional bid and award contracts might actually lead to. Finally, in terms of the budget, we received PRC approval for this project in December of 2024. The project funding is the Sewer Operations and Maintenance Fund, and all funds have been appropriated. And so in conclusion, we are requesting the board to authorize the city engineer to utilize Cisco for this scope of work and authorize the issuance of task work orders not exceeding $850,000 to complete the retaining wall and site safety repairs at Hyperion. That completes my report, and I open the floor up to any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments related to item number 28? Seeing none, I'll move to approve item number 28, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 28, starting with you, President Kane.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes. Item 28 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much.
Have a great
Moving on to our final item is 29, Council District 13, Contract Award for PALP Inc., DBA Excel Paving Co.
Good afternoon, President, Vice President, Commissioners. So this project, Affordable Housing Sustainable Communities Round 4 Hollywood Arts Collective, STI and TRA Improvement to Stand for Sustainable Transportation Infrastructure and Transit-Related Amenities, is funded by the Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities, which is a program that funds projects that implement housing, land use, and transportation that will effectively reduce greenhouse gas effects. So this project will improve access to local small businesses, schools, single-family, and multifamily housing developments in the area. The scope includes curb ramp replacements, upgrades, curb extensions, new or upgraded high-quality crosswalks, bicycle boulevard treatments, including Class 3 bike share pavement markings, traffic calming, and crossing enhancements, bike ramps, bike racks, parkway enhancements, and as well as street trees and lighting. The contract duration for this project is 365 days, and the project has been reviewed and exempted from CEQA. The city engineer's estimate for this project was $3,196,957, and 3 bidders bid on this project. Bidders from lowest to highest in respective order were PPC Construction at $4.2 million, Axiom Group for $4.4 million, and Pulp doing business as Excel as $5.2 million. And PPC, the first apparent lowest bidder, did not extend their bid bond because these bids were received October of 2024, but due to funding constraints, we didn't have funding for it, so we had to extend our contract award. They elected not to extend their bid bond, so they could no longer be the first awarded or first selected bidder. Axiom, the second lowest bidder, failed to comply with the requirements of the general instructions and information for bidders, which indicated that the bid bond must be signed by both the bidder and the surety. And then the failure to provide proper required signatures may deem the bid non-responsive. And a letter to effectuate this was sent to them December 4th, and they did not contest it. So therefore, looking at the process, PPC they didn't extend their bid bond. Axiom was non-responsive, so now went to the third lowest bidder, Pulp, doing business as Excel. This project was subject to the business inclusion program, which indicates that they have to comply with certain subcontracting entities, such as a minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, small business enterprise, emerging business enterprise, and disadvantaged veteran business enterprise. And the typical percentage that we stipulate is 4% for MEB, 2% for WEB, 25% for SBE, 8% for EBE, and 3% for DVBE. They presented when looking at their subcontract, they presented 0.96% MEB, 0.95% WEB, 1.96% SBE, 0% EBE, 0.96% DVBE, 0% LGBTBE, which is a new designation that we track, and 23.83% OBE. And their subcontracting minimum per the bid documents was 25%, but they were able to exceed that to 27%. Bureau of Contract Administration has reviewed their bid proposal, and they have complied with the city's non-discrimination policies. On their previous work record, Excel has worked on numerous contracts issued by the board and had no significant or unresolved problems by inspection, contract compliance, or bidder responsibility. They did extend their bid bond to July 15th. In conclusion, in looking at the above findings, we recommend that the board declare Excel, third lowest bidder, to be the lowest responsible bidder and award the contract to Excel for this project. Funding for this project comes from both the Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities, which will be front-funded by the Transportation Grant Fund, which is managed by LADOT, and also CTIP funds, the Capital Tax Investment Expenditure Program administered by the CAO's office. I'll be happy to take any questions. And I apologize, my name is Noor Malhis. I'm a principal engineer from the Street Improvement Division. I forgot to mention that.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions, comments? All right, seeing none, I'll move to approve item number 29. Is there a second? Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 29, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell. All ayes. Item 29 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Item number 30 will be rescheduled at a later date. Mr. Knight, does that conclude our voting items for today?
Yes, it does, President Kang.
All right, just wanted to wish everybody a happy Juneteenth tomorrow, so we'll be off. Our next meeting will be on Friday, June 20th, 2025. The meeting is adjourned at 12:25 p.m.